me a $500,000 policy for only $16 a month.
We could help you save more than any of us.
You can expect heading into Memorial Day in your normal temps, mainly cloudy, but rain does return.
A massive motorcade making a 50-mile ride to honor fallen veterans. Those riding share why the tradition is growing year by year.
And here's a quick check at some of the headlines you can expect heading into Memorial Day in your normal temps, mainly cloudy, but rain does return overnight into Tuesday. I'll walk you through the details.
There's some shopping pictures.
Whoa. The unexpected can happen to any of us.
To help, the IRS has experts fighting for them. Now you can have a team behind you working to help settle your tax debt. If you are a loved one.
And the weather is gloomy today. It's nothing compared to what we're seeing in other parts of the country.
That's true. We just don't have that kind of life and death weather here in Western Washington. We're very fortunate here to have the Cascade Range of the mountains, the Olympic Mountain Range, and also the Pacific Ocean to keep us somewhat moderate and relatively quiet. Today, maybe not so quiet for all of us as we had a good amount of rain sweep through. Currently at Everett, Payne Field, cloudy skies but dry. We dried out pretty quickly for Everett after those morning rain showers, and right now temperatures are slightly warmer than what we had yesterday. 58 degrees for Everett with a southeasterly wind 13 miles an hour. Now farther south for Des Moines, you could see plenty of clouds here, a little bit of a sun break trying to make its way through. Rain showers are farther south of Des Moines at this point. We're going to stay dry for the most part for much of our South Puget Sound area. 71. Well, I'm not certain that that's actually the actual temperature. I have to double check that one. That's pretty warm because today most of us got into the low to mid 60s. Well, in fact, let's go ahead and look at temperatures for SeaTac at the waterfront. We've got 57 degrees, wind out of the southwest, 9 miles an hour. 57 is a lot more like it. It's very unlikely we actually hit 70 for Des Moines. Now, as we go ahead and talk about the sun breaks we've got trying to get through the clouds now, we'll see more of this tomorrow. And we won't have the rain to start out the day like we did today. We still have the lingering rain showers here to the north around Whatcom County. For Bellingham, we've dried out, but Cedro-Woolley starting to get in the drier side of some light showers that are stretching across I-5 around Bow, up towards Acme and over Maple Falls and Deming. Also have some showers just to the west of Olympia, mainly staying west of Olympia, but hitting Shelton, you've got a moderate shower just to the southwest of you. And we've also got a few showers up around Highway 2 for Bering and working their way into Stevens Pass. The coast, though, is where our biggest cluster of rain showers is at right now, and we're also going to see this hang around through overnight tonight into the first part of tomorrow. We'll still continue to see these rain showers popping up from time to time along our coastline and into the rainforest where Quinault's getting some of that shower activity currently. But let's talk about temperatures. Our highs today for Seattle, it was 59, but Tacoma hit 60 degrees for a high temperature, and that was our warm spot, unless you're going to go all the way south towards Kelso and Longview where we hit 65. So temperatures as a whole, upper 50s to around 60 when we should be at 68 degrees. We should be hitting that tomorrow. The Futurecast temperature tracker showing that after a normal temperature tomorrow, we're going to crash down Tuesday and Wednesday back below normal in the upper 50s before we work our way back up to normal again for Thursday and Friday. High pressure is going to be the weather maker that's going to be making tomorrow a nice dry day. It's trying to push the storm track out of the way, but the storm track is still fairly strong and keeping some showers just brushing by the north coast and the Canadian border tomorrow. Otherwise, we're going to head back into that cool showery pattern after this high pressure tries to give us a nice Memorial Day tomorrow. So the Futurecast rainfall, you can see where it's going to rain tomorrow. Out on the coast, and we're going to have a little bit of light shower activity early for mainly Whatcom and Skagit County and around the islands. Elsewhere, pretty dry. Overnight tonight, your temperatures will be in the upper 40s to around around 50 degrees. We'll have mostly cloudy skies with a few sun breaks outside. Temperatures getting in the upper 60s and approaching 70 for Auburn and Seattle and also Bellevue. Mid-60s for Bellingham and upper 50s for Port Angeles through the Strait of Juan de Fuca, where we still have that chance of a shower, and we'll have a few of them on the coast in the upper 50s. Lower 60s for Southwest Washington and east of the Cascades. Definitely warm in the mid to upper 70s. Partly to mostly cloudy skies with still a chance of a shower east of the Cascades. Now, as we go to that 7-day forecast in Seattle, after tomorrow's nice dry break with some warmer temperatures that are normal, we'll crash back down into the shower activity on Tuesday. Showers and sun breaks Wednesday with a convergence zone bringing a slight risk of a thunderstorm included in that, also along the coast. Then Thursday, we start going back to some drier weather with sunshine in the afternoon. But Friday and Saturday, definitely the mostly sunny days after morning cloud cover. Then we're going to get close to 70. So we'll get back to some nicer weather at the end of the week. But tomorrow, good day to have a drier day.
Absolutely. All right. The week gets better as we go on. Appreciate that. Got to mention this. It's military.
You're watching KOMO News.
Happening now at 6, a major break in the case of a woman murdered while shopping at Costco. The new information in a live report only on KOMO.
And after gradually drying out, now we've got a few showers working their way towards places like Federal Way. I'll show you where these showers are at and how soon they're going to be wrapping up for us in your forecast.
Plus, gunfire rings out in Seattle's Pioneer Square, leading to a murder inside a parking garage. KOMO News at 6 starts now. Thanks for spending part of your Sunday with us. I'm Ryan Sims. Michelle is off. Tonight, KOMO is the only station with news of a major break in the murder of a shopper at Costco. 2 men, we learned, are now facing murder charges for that shooting, which left a woman dead as she loaded groceries in her car. KOMO's Jeremy Harris joins us live from that Tukwila Costco. Jeremy, you learned that one of the suspects even then tried to flee and did flee the country?
Yeah, that's right, Ryan. According to the court documents, the alleged shooter fled the country the week after the murder here in the Tukwila Costco parking lot. This is a case we've been pushing for answers about for months. We now know that police believe 19-year-old Salman Haji and 18-year-old Ilis Abdi killed the 67-year-old victim during an attempted robbery. Now, this shooting happened on the morning of January 26th. It was around 10:45 a.m. when police responded to the report of shots fired. The victim, Ming Wang, died here in the parking lot. Now, the police had few answers about what happened, but now new charging documents say investigators believe the 2 men were in a stolen SUV that was carjacked in Seattle. They drove here to Tukwila and spotted the Wang sisters putting groceries into their car. Police say Haji then tried to steal one of the woman's purse, but there was a struggle, and now he's accused of shooting the victim in the chest as she was trying to protect her sister during that robbery. Police say Haji and Abdi fled the area, but months later, prosecutors said there was enough to file charges.
It certainly is a lot to manage large volumes of evidence and search warrants and scenes in multiple cities, but that's exactly what police and prosecutors are trained to do. And this is a case where we believe we can prove these charges beyond a reasonable doubt.
This is a case that really shocked the Tukwila community, in part because the motive for the killing wasn't clear and police didn't publicly identify the suspects. But now we know police had leads on the suspects from early on in their investigation, including their fingerprints in the stolen SUV and cell phone records that put them in the parking lot at the time of the shooting. We also know now from these charging documents, police had surveillance video of the 2 suspects trying to use stolen credit cards at a grocery store after the carjacking, but before the shooting here at the Costco. As for the 2 suspects, Abdi, he's the accused getaway driver. He was arrested earlier this month in connection to a shooting in Kent where a 17-year-old boy was killed. The suspected shooter, Salman Haji, he's the guy who fled the country. Now, according to investigators, they say he left about a week after the shooting, and he has not returned, and it's not clear what efforts are being made to try and potentially bring him back here to King County to face these criminal charges. But for now, both suspects are charged with murder, robbery, and attempted robbery. More to come on this case on KOMO News at 11. For now, reporting live in Tukwila, Jeremy Harris, KOMO News.
Quite the development. Thank you so much, Jeremy. Also happening on this Sunday, one man is dead after being gunned down in a parking garage. It happened in Pioneer Square near the intersection of Occidental Avenue and South Yesler Way. As KOMO's Karina Vargas reports, it is the same parking garage that was the scene of a major SWAT situation just a week ago.
Shots rang out just outside of the sinking ship garage in Pioneer Square, where a man was found dead in the lower level. It was a massive response with several police cars blocking the street. Some people who work in the area say they were in shock to hear what happened.
Surprise, I guess, because I come down here, like I said, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, work all day right across the street here, and I don't never have any issues.
Chris Rosillo tells me even though he hasn't encountered any problems, he said he has heard about some of the recent violence in the area and has seen people hanging around the parking garage.
There's usually people sleeping here when I get here around 6:45 in the morning. There's been a couple of fires where they're lighting fires.
Just last week, there was an hours-long standoff with police in the parking garage that ended with a 55-year-old man being arrested for felony harassment, resisting arrest, and criminal trespassing. Some people said after these two incidents, they hope to see more security, especially with the busy summer months ahead.
There's, I think, a good enough police presence, but obviously the more people are down here, maybe the more police they can have down here.
Those also visiting the area tell me they didn't know what was going on, but they are staying alert.
I try not to put myself in harm's way, though, you know, on the flip side of that. But I mean, I wouldn't say I feel unsafe. If I see something that looks sketch, I'm probably going to go the other direction.
Police are still investigating what led up to the shooting. Right now, no one has been arrested. We have reached out to Seattle PD asking whether there's potential for them to add more security in this area. We are still waiting for a response. In Pioneer Square, Karina Vargas, KOMO News.
Going outside right now, more of the same on this holiday weekend. Gloomy, cloudy conditions on a weekend that we hoped would be filled with sunshine, but that apparently is not the case. Rebecca is tracking conditions. If only Memorial Day were next weekend, things would be better.
That's true, and that's a great tease for staying tuned to the forecast to see what we're talking about. But let's talk about tonight, where we have some rain showers that have been building up again along the coast, and now they're starting to track inland around the South Sound, where we dried out for quite a while today. Right now, if we look outside for SeaTac, it is cloudy skies. Most of us have these clouds around, but the rain showers have been pretty specific in their location on the coast and farther north near the Canadian border, and that's where the most rain has fallen today. Most of this rain came through in the morning, and we got about a third of an inch for Bellingham, 2/10 of an inch of rain for Everett, and only a 1/10 of an inch for Seattle, even less than that as you move south. But we've got rain showers now tracking in towards Federal Way to Tacoma and Lakewood. That's right along I-5, but then over on Kitsap Peninsula, we have areas with rain showers popping up, and we're going to see these continue around Gig Harbor. Over towards Shelton, we are drying out, but you can see the showers were coming in off the coast. That's our primary area of shower activity tonight, and we'll expect them to be moving out for a temporary break. However, showers going to be back for us on the coast and near the border for the day tomorrow. But the rest of us, warmer temperatures and some sun breaks. I've got that forecast for you, and then we'll talk more about what's ahead at the end of the week, what we were hinting at. That's coming up in your forecast.
Tonight, we continue our profiles of 4 candidates running to become the next governor of Washington. They are the 4 who have raised the most money and polled the highest of any of the candidates. Take a look at them. They are Republicans Dave Reichart and Semi Bird, and Democrats Mark Mullet and Bob Ferguson. KOMO News senior reporter Chris Daniels talked with State Senator Mullet about his vision for our state.
If you stop by an Issaquah store, you will get a scoop.
This is my ice cream store. All my kids have worked here. We have signs here, and it's better than them knocking on the door of my house at random hours. So.
But by now, it is no surprise that the owner, Mark Mullet, is running for governor.
How does this frame your perspective on running for the highest office in the state?
The common thread is we all hate wasting money. Like, small business owners just simply can't afford to waste money. And I think that's the mentality we need in the governor's office.
Senator Mark Mullet from Issaquah, representing the 5th Legislative District.
He's served in the state Senate for the past dozen years, frequently at odds with fellow Democrats on tax votes.
What are your top 4 priorities as you run for governor?
First one is affordability. We have to figure out how to make our state affordable. A second focus for me is really around public safety. The third comes back to jobs. I look at the vacancy rate in downtown Seattle right now of office buildings. We're going to want a governor that can actually go in and recruit businesses to come to our state. And the final one is our public schools. I think there's a lot of room for improvement still. We've thrown billions of dollars in the public school system.
Mullet believes that is a recipe that can separate himself from Democratic fundraising leader Bob Ferguson, arguing the Attorney General is more status quo than him.
We get roughly $480 million a year in cannabis tax revenue. I think we should be pushing that out at the local level to both cities and counties. And I'm a big fan of secure substance abuse treatment facilities. Like, I think that's our missing link.
You've been in the legislature. Why hasn't that happened?
You know, the governor has a lot of power. And so he has his priorities right now of where he wants to spend his money. My priorities would be different.
Mullet says he's supporting 2 of the voter initiatives on the ballot this fall.
My record lines up exactly with how I voted in the Senate, which is I opposed the long-term care payroll tax, never thought it was a good tax. I voted against the capital gains tax because we had the largest budget surplus in the history of our state, $8 billion. The Climate Commitment Act is the one initiative that I'm not supporting. We can fight climate change without having the highest gas prices in the country.
But if you're elected governor, you would be interested in doing something different.
You know, I think it's a false choice to say anyone complaining about the price of gas doesn't care about climate change. I know a lot of people that care about climate change, but also care about the price of gas. And that's the balance we need to get right.
So you're clearly trying to carve out this middle lane. Are there enough Democrats who are willing to drive down this, to continue on with this metaphor about driving? Are there enough Democrats, do you think, are willing to drive down this middle lane?
2/3 of the state wants somebody besides Bob Ferguson. And Attorney General Bob Ferguson was the one urging the legislature to follow the path of Oregon and decriminalize possession of drugs like meth, fentanyl, heroin. I was a Democratic state senator that came out the day after that Supreme Court decision and said,